Indie Cross is possibly the greatest indie animated show about indie animated games, but you don't know the full story. The ties with Friday Night Funkin', the spin-off lore, and how one man's dream created possibly the greatest indie series of all time. I will be explaining how this mod came to be, the leader's attempts to break away from Friday Night Funkin', and how it spiraled out into the show we know and love today, Indie Cross. So back in November 6, 2021, Moro and a team of various people created a demo mod for Friday Night Funkin', a rhythm game that's really popular within the indie space. It focuses on the main character boyfriend having a rap battle with various people to win his girlfriend over by impressing her father. But in this game, you rap against different characters from popular indie games, like Cuphead, Undertale, and Bendy and the Ink Machine. This simple demo blew up and was praised for its high-quality soundtracks, new and creative game mechanics, and high-budget animations. And here's the part that people forget. This wasn't even the full mod yet. This was a demo, and it still went viral. So skip to the full release on April 8, 2022, and the popularity of this game exploded. The new release had actual full-on voice-acted animations, 20 full songs, tons of character animations, and even the bones of a plot. Yes, you heard me right. A story. And it's basically about the main character boyfriend being teleported through these weird portals and encountering Cuphead before he's done finding the contracts, Sans before he dies to Frisk, and Bendy after the ink machine is turned on. And basically, boyfriend forces them all into a rap battle, wins, then almost gets brutally executed by each one of them on his journey to return home. So at the time, this game/mod was basically what Undertale Yellow was to Undertale, the crowned king of FNF mods. But something was brewing in the shadows, stemming from the leader of the project, Moro. You see, Moro was the leader of this project, but he was getting tired and he felt the team was too, despite having a whole 12 people on this dev team. But here's where it gets interesting. So because of the pressure he was facing to get this project out, he brought in a new coder so he could give the team a minute of rest. It was really just creative burnout, but when Moro brought the extra coder in, it was kind of the tipping point for the team. They already had some mismanagement complaints and really didn't like the way Moro communicated at the time, so they got into a few arguments behind the scenes. So, he left just 10 days after the full release. This sparked a sort of mini controversy within the community, because there were people obviously mad at Moro for giving into the community pressure and leaving. And while he was sort of in the wrong for abandoning this, he did not deserve the backlash from the FNF community. In the end, Moro did want to do the right thing, he just had a bad way of doing it. I'm not gonna act like Moro was fully in the right here, nor is this the topic of the video. He made some mistakes, and it's not like he can go back and change them, but he can learn from them and grow as a person. He's only human after all, and so we should treat him like one. So after he stepped down, he continued to create what-if animations and versus battles, but the idea never left his head. He wanted it to roughly fit the idea of some of the most influential or popular older indie games to all unite or interact while also facing the same threats, and so he began to work. He also wanted it to compile the lore from his previous projects, but also being completely separate, like how he wanted to explain the portals and nightmare forms. At first, he thought he could make this into a movie, but then he quickly realized the pacing was going to be horrible. So he expanded it into roughly 6 episodes. He started dropping teasers at the end of his what-if scenarios based on the original mod, like Nightmare Bendy vs Nightmare Sans, and then he dropped it on May 19, 2023. A full-fledged 20-minute animation featuring characters from all sorts of the indie game spectrum, and all represented masterfully. The plot follows Shovel Knight and his unlikely befriending of Cuphead, Madeline and her befriending of the Knight, and Frisk on their genocide route, fighting everyone they see, including the main villain Charlotte. See, Charlotte is this big bad villain that is fighting our beloved video game protagonists for no reason, so we hate her. At least that's all we knew around the time for episode 1. and it was received with tons of praise, but at the same time criticism for lip syncing. One of the weirder things to criticize, but okay. So, taking this into stride, Moro took a backseat to Indie Cross and focused on his Murder Drones vs. Haluva boss, by the way, also a masterclass of an animation, and spearheaded another Friday Night Funkin' mod, as sort of a final send-off to the Friday Night Funkin' community for everything. It was called Cruel Whispers, in which Boyfriend fights the developer's main OCs, including Moro's. So, with all that finally wrapped up, he locked in. A 50-minute episode formally introducing the main characters Episode 1 failed to, along with 5 new villains to get right. He had a lot on his plate. And so he tried to create some hype around the release by creating a website to promote Indie Cross while giving us some snippets of lore, like our first introduction to the Rogues, and dropping even more teasers on his YouTube and Twitter. For a project and animation this big, it had to do good. Moro said himself if the views failed him, he will discard the show, because he's not just going to put a small team's time, effort, and no doubt money into a fruitless project. And then he dropped episode 2. And what do you know? Moro went 3 for 3.
Ah! That is hard as f***! No, that's hard as f***! Ultra kill!
What are you watching? That's the new episode of Indie Cross.
No way! V1?
But overall, episode 2, freaking fantastic. I said 10 out of 10 before, I stand by that.
The episode skyrocketed into tens of millions of views, and got the first episode, initially 3 million views, to triple its amount and get to just shy of 10 million views. It was instantly praised for the iconic representation of these new characters, the fixed lip syncing, and its beautiful fight choreography and music from just one man and his small team. It even got to a point where even some of the creators of the indie games themselves recognized the passion of this series and put some of their games on sale. Indie Cross is more of a simple tale, really, but it proves that the internet does not forget real talent. The key is to persevere, just like Moro said. Which is why you should subscribe! Wait, what? So if you like this video, my next video right here is about everything we know about episode 3 of Indie Cross, and if you liked this kind of content, subscribe! Because it would give you power scaling, theories, or rankings about Indie Cross. Well, that's all from me. Time to go back to waiting for episode 3 again.